it was so wonderful to kind of do a Western on the real locations where Wayne had worked and Dean Martin and all these other actors that I loved. And the first film I ever saw in my life was Rio Bravo. My dad took me to see Rio Bravo. So I was always a big fan of that film.
We're here to have a good time today, and we have Wynorski with us. And do you know what that is, Jim Wynorski? Do you know The Devil Wears Nada? Cheerleader Massacre? Big Bad Mama 2? He's the director, Jim Wynorski. I love you directors who just know how to whip things out fast, especially your films.
That's true. 12 days or under.
I know you love spaghetti westerns, and you've directed over 100 movies. Mm-hmm. And you started with Roger Corman.
That's true.
Which is a wonderful place to begin.
That's true.
You love spaghetti westerns, and you made a western. What is your western?
My western is called Hard Bounty, with Kelly LeBrock and Matt McCoy. Mm-hmm. And I waited a long time to get a western. They weren't they were always big, popular A movies, but B movies was tough to get them made. And I was known for doing, sci-fi, chopping mall, horror. And when I did Big Bad Mama 2, I said, well, that was set in the 1930s. I want to set it in Texas. So that was sort of a spaghetti, but when I finally got the chance, some people from Playboy called and said, we want to make a sexy Western. And
what year was this?
1995. And I did not want to make a sexy Western. I wanted to make a Sergio Corbucci, Sergio Leone movie. And so I promised them I would give them what they wanted, but as long as I got what I wanted. So we hired Kelly LeBrock from Lady in Red and Matt McCoy from The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. And we all went out to Tucson, Arizona, and made the film there in the 107-degree heat. Ooh. And but I was
people must have had to take their tops off for that.
Exactly. And we had some pretty girls in the movie, but it was a solid story and had a showdown at the end.
Do you write most of your scripts?
Some of them. This one was given to me as a script by a girl named Karen Kelly, who had written a couple of my body chemistry movies, and she did a really good job with the script.
What's the story? 4
ladies who run a kind of a saloon. One of the saloon girls is killed, and which is the younger daughter, a sister of Kelly LeBrock, and they go out on a mission of revenge, which is what every spaghetti western really is about.
Getting yourself killed is not going to bring back your sister.
You just don't understand, do you? Hey!
So that's how we came to make that movie, and again, it was old Tucson where they shot Rio Bravo and so many other westerns like El Dorado and such. That it
Did you have a decent stunt crew too?
I had a decent stunt crew. We had players that had brought their own horses, and every day was a wonder for me because I didn't care how hot it got. Out in Arizona, it rains in the afternoon for about an hour. And I always I said, well, let's get the storm when we kind of know it's coming. And Kelly was great. She knew how to ride. And Matt McCoy also knew how to ride. So we had a situation once where one of the girls, the horse got spooked and ran off with her. And Kelly just got on her horse and jumped up and chased after her like a female Lone Ranger, stopped the horse and saved the day. And again, this is out where it really looks like the Old West, the cactuses and everything else.
How many days was your shoot?
18.
That's 18. A decent length.
Yeah, and I got this train running over there, and you know, it was so wonderful to kind of do a Western on the real locations where Wayne had worked, and Dean Martin, and all these other actors that I loved, and suddenly I was there.
Well, obviously you're a big film buff, so what are some of your favorite Westerns that inspired you to want to do this?
Well, the first film I ever saw in my life was Rio Bravo. My dad took me to see Rio Bravo. So I was always a big fan of that film. And then later on, I got to see Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More, Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. A lot of Robert Woods, who's here today, made a bunch of great spaghetti westerns. And, you know, I made a point of going to see them on 42nd Street, which is the only place they would play theatrically.
Thank you.
Sorry, Robert, but that's where I had to see them. They didn't play the local.
What was the co-feature on those with Robert?
You know what used to
Some of your titles?
I hadn't done them yet. But later on when I got to do films like Chopping Mall and Deathstalker and Beastmaster and Return of Swamp Thing, all these other movies, it was a lot of fun to, sometimes always try to sneak a little Western motif into the movies.
The scores are always so important with spaghetti westerns, and
Yes.
in fact, all films. What did you do to inspire the score for your film?
I licensed some spaghetti western music.
You and Tarantino, that's what he does too.
And he did it in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Always, and his choice for music is so unappreciated, and he's spot on every time. Who did you choose for your film?
Francesco Damasi.
Oh, great.
And,
he did Steve's film, Lone Wolf McQuade.
Yes, he did. I also believe he scored Arena back in the day, which is another film that Steve worked on. And but Lone Wolf McQuade was one of my favorite scores of his. And so when I got a chance to do Hard Bounty, I licensed a few tracks from Any Gun Can Play, which was another Ed Burns, who just passed away.
Gilbert Roland, too.
Gilbert Roland and George Hilton.
Yes.
So.
So of the spaghetti westerns then that inspired you, besides the Leones, what are the titles?
I love a lot of Sergio Corbucci westerns, like The Mercenary, Great Silence.
Good stuff.
And there's a bunch of others, Compañeros, Django, all the Corbucci
There's
westerns.
a lot of Morricones right there, too.
Yes, exactly. And The Big Gun Down, Sergio Solima, another great one.
Do you think you'll make another Western?
You know, I'm making a film in the Bahamas in April. And it is basically a Western.
What's the title?
It's called Crime City. And, but it is set in a kind of a post-apocalyptic atmosphere, and I'm making it a lot like a Western.
Oh, is it driven by the financing?
Not really. It's driven by the fact that there's a whole island of Great Abaco that got wasted by the hurricane, and they haven't cleaned it up. Roger Corman saw the place and called me and said, "You want to go down there and make a movie?" And I looked at it all. I said, well, "I can make a kind of a fun Western." So we're getting horses and stuff, and we're going to make a kind of after the bomb Western.
So Roger's one of the producers on it, then?
Yes, he is.
Oh,
Yes, he
great.
is.
How's he doing?
He's 94.
He's the right age to be a guest.
I'm seeing him this afternoon. I'll ask him to do it. He's still going strong. He's a cane now, but the reason he called me, so he says, "You're one of the only guys who could do this."
Yeah, oh,
because
great.
you like doing these kind of, and it's going to be a crew of 7 and some actors. So
that sounds fun, though.
yeah, well, it's the Bahamas, so I can go to Atlantis and Nassau and have a good old time after I'm done.
Yeah. How can people see your Western?
Hard Bounty, I believe, is showing illegally on YouTube.
Well, we'll go right there.
And I think it's available in other, some other streaming services. But it turned out nice, and I like it a lot.
Well, Jim, we've liked having you here to share this story with us, too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, share, and tell your friends, because we and you, we're all going to keep the Western history alive. Thanks. See you soon.